Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. As requested, today I'll be doing a video on how to install Pure Nexus on your Nexus 6P, and this is pretty much a stock-based ROM with stability with the features you need, trademarked. Now that is a direct quote. So yeah, Pure Nexus is one of my other favorite ROMs. As I said last time about Resurrection Remix, it's kind of like your A and your B. I like both, but we can only choose one, really. But the Pure Nexus project pretty much is about adding features to the stock ROM that kind of leaves the stability alone, so to speak. So it's not, far out there with all the customization. It just has what it needs, pretty much. I guess very basic in terms of customization, but can still go a long way in terms of what you want to achieve and all that. It still has many things that are quite similar on different ROMs as all that, so they're kind of they got a few mods out there and tweaks that you'll find on other ROMs. So don't worry about your tweaks not being there, because you're probably there will be, or it will be there. So we head over to we're going to need to download a few things, and of course we're going to need to check a few things as well. So here is the Pure Nexus XDA thread. You can see it is based on 7.1.1, the latest version. Now if we scroll down to downloads and changelog, we can click on this Google link for the current release download links, and also the suggested Google apps, which suggested I'll download those as well. So we won't be using OpenGApps for this, but of course you can use OpenGApps if you like to. And of course the appropriate vendor image, which should be the N4F26J, is the one that you'll need. So those are all the links that we need to click on, and let's take a look now. So we have our download link for our ROM. So that goes to Android file host. That is cool. This also has the Google Apps download as well as the vendor image download, so that's fine. So here it is, the 21st build. So download this, and something else you also want to download is the Google Apps that you want. So I might try out the mini dynamic. So, and then we need to select the latest one. Just go by date, January 21st. And there's only a 220 megabyte download, so I might as well download this just because I don't have it. So it's going to search for a mirror, and then we'll be able to press download. There we are. I'm going to locate a good place to download this into my stash. If I give me a sec. Oops, Google Apps, isn't it? I'm going to press save and then start download. So that shouldn't take too long, about 5 minutes. So I guess I can talk the rest of this and we'll be on our way. And the last thing we want to download is the appropriate vendor image. Now you'll see that I'll ask you to download the N4F26J, but it might change in the future with the new builds. And I think where you want to check is perhaps maybe the changelog. Not sure that tells you what it's built on, but if we look maybe further down, well, I guess not. But generally, when you get it to the latest vendor image, you'll usually be fine on Pure Nexus. They do a pretty good job at updating everything whenever the new builds come out. So, but in this case, you'll want to download the N4F26. They have the J version here. So I've already downloaded this vendor image, or you can extract it from a, let's say, factory image that you already own. So the N4F26J is the one that you want. So far we have 3 things downloaded in case. So to check what vendor image you have right now, it's also good to check what build of Android your phone is based off right now. So currently I'm running the Marshmallow version of Resurrection Remix. So if I go down here and go to About Phone, you can see that I am on. So they've kind of messed up the build numbers here, but from what it was based off of, it was the MTC20L, and obviously that doesn't match the N4F26J build that we need, so we're going to need to flash the new vendor image. But if it's same and matching, there's no harm in flashing it again, but it is then an optional step. So going back to our computer, we'll need to download a few more things because PureNexus does not come pre-rooted, and for good thing that is, because that means you have an increased chance or likelihood of using Android Pay, whether I guess you choose the non-root version or use Magisk. and it also gives you a bit of flexibility to what you want to use your ROM for, which I really appreciate. So if we go over to our second Chrome window, so we have Magisk that you can just download and flash. The latest version 10.2 comes with PWH's super user built into it. All you have to do is download the app, but I think PureNexus is able to kind of detect that once the app is installed, and you'll have an entry appear when you are in the settings. So I'll show you that a little bit later. So yeah, you can use Magisk, or you can download the latest version of SuperSU from Chainfire's website here. Right now it's the SR3 2.79, or in fact you could choose not to flash a root your device at all. So that is in fact an option for you as well. But I'm going to be using Magisk, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we can still get Android Pay to work, or SafetyNet to bypass. So because I have been hearing a recent update, I guess, to SafetyNet that even the current version of Magisk can't bypass. So we'll see, and we'll see when we flash the ROM, see if it still works. So in fact, we have a few things downloaded already. If I go to my device, we have the vendor image. So this might be a little bit small, but we have the vendor image, we have the ROM, we have our Google Apps that's almost finished downloading. I have a version of OpenGApps down there, but I might use this one. And we also have our routing solution, so you can choose that. The routing part is completely optional, but I guess you might want it to complete your Android experience. So while this download is just finishing up, I guess we can talk about making a backup in TWRP and some of the steps that are lying ahead. So when you make a backup in TWRP, this is completely optional, but recommended in case you want to go back to your current ROM that you're running right now with all your apps and stuff that's still there, and it just makes it easier to return back to your old ROM if you don't happen to like PureNexus. So before you make a backup, or before you reboot into TWRP to make a backup, you want to disable your screen lock. So that includes your passcode or anything like that, password, pattern, things like that. You don't want to have that enabled. You want to change it back to swipe. So no lock screen if you want to make a TWRP backup and restore it. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems entering the same passcode or password to get into your device. And that is a little bit hard to, well, not that hard, but it's just annoying. So I'm going to delete this open gap since we're using the mini dynamic gaps as recommended by Beans himself. So yeah, once you have everything downloaded, you are probably ready to go. So we're going to go back to our device now, and we're going to reboot into the recovery. Now hopefully you know how to do this by now. And since the Resurrection Remix comes with the advanced reboot menu, it makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, you would boot into the bootloader and then select recovery mode. Now, we're almost going to boot into TWRP, and this is where we will flash or make a backup and flash our ROM. So we'll give it a sec, and when it boots in, we shall start the process. Okay, so about now. Okay, so first up, we need to back up our current ROM. As I said, this is optional, but this is how you can go about doing it. So we're going to tap on backup, and then whatever is selected here is fine. You can leave it as is, and you would just swipe to backup just like that. Now I already have a recent backup of PureNexus, or I already have a recent backup, end of story, so I'm not going to do this. But if you don't have one or you want to make one, just let this process go through. It'll probably take roughly, I would say, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, depending on how big your data and all that is. So with that out of the way, we can go back, and we can now wipe our device here. We're going to swipe to factory reset. This won't touch any of your internal storage, so your music, your photos will still be all there, just your apps and stuff are gone. So we're going to tap on install now and locate the vendor image. So we need to tap on install image down at this bottom corner, and that'll show us our vendor image that we can flash. So there it is. We're going to select it, and we're going to select which partition to flash this image to, which is obviously the vendor image, and then we're going to swipe to confirm flash. This flash shouldn't take too long, maybe a few seconds. There we are. So now we're going to hit back again, and then tap on install zip. I'm going to scroll all the way down and find out where our zip files are. So what we need to do first is flash PureNexus, the ROM. This shouldn't take too long, but I'll fast forward in case things do pan out a little bit longer. Okie doke. So once we've done that, we can go back, and now we can flash our Google Apps. We're going to swipe to confirm flash here. This shouldn't take too long either, but I will fast forward if it does linger around a little bit long. And done. And last but not least, we now flash our routing solution. And now this part is optional, of course, but I'll be using Magisk version 10.2. You can also use Super SU, doesn't really matter, or not flash root at all. So this will do its thing. And once we're done, we're going to tap on Reboot System. This always pops up, but I'm going to leave it here just so I can explain it every time it pops up. But you don't have to install this. This is just the official TWRP app they recently released. It will allow you to check for updates of TWRP, which isn't too bad, and allow you to flash things with TWRP, I think. So I'm not going to install this. I have no need for it. But if you want it, you can just swipe to install it. But that could mess up things for SafetyNet and things like that. So just be wary of that. So on our first boot, it shouldn't take that long, but if it does, we shall fast forward. Before I do that, I'd like to talk about some other things on this version of PureNexus. It does have a lot of the pixel features on this, so such as the pixel launcher, the pixel boot animation, as we can see here right now, the pixel color scheme, the pixel round icons, which I really don't like, but and also I'm not sure if you get access to Assistant. I'm not too sure on that one, probably, because now we don't have to change the model version. And also, you also get the pixel navigation bar, which can be turned on or off, which is quite nifty. So apparently this build of, or the 21st or the first build of PureNexus actually can fix the OK Google detection that was happening on the previous versions of PureNexus. So if we just have a quick look, yes. So what if I go back to the computer while our phone is booting, on that post where the download links were, you can see that it was supposed to suggest that a clean flash would do good with the new dynamic gaps, which were downloaded, and it's telling us that if we use open gaps, do not post bug reports, because I guess it hasn't been tested with a ROM per se, or hasn't been made to accompany the ROM the best that it can. So yeah, hopefully the OK Google works. I guess I can let you know in the more info down below if I end up testing it after this. But yeah, I might as well stay on this for a little bit. So our first boot obviously does take some time, most of the time, so I want to fast forward this until we get to wherever we need to, after setup probably, and we shall have a look at some of the options and features available on PureNexus. Okay, so here's some extra content. If your phone is currently stuck at the booting screen here for more than like 6 minutes, 10 minutes, and you can touch it and maybe it's getting a little bit warm. It's not actually that warm, but if you don't feel like giving it any more time, you can definitely try this, but I do recommend giving it as much time as you can. So preferably more than 5 minutes, more than 10 minutes, but not quite much as 15 to 20 minutes, because then that would just be too long. So what we're going to do is hold the power and volume buttons together until our device turns off and until we get into the bootloader. Now if the screen just turns off and we're not getting into the bootloader like now, then you'll need to let go of your hands and then try again. But we're going to reboot into the recovery mode and we'll see if we can do something else. Now there are many ways to flash this, I guess, and what I showed you then should work if you're coming from a stock ROM or a ROM similar or based off the Android open source project, that on its own kind of thing. But I guess coming from CyanogenMod and things like that, there may be some things that are bugging PureNexus that aren't really allowing it to work as well as it can. So this is an alternate instruction to what I've said earlier. So yeah, do this if it didn't work. So we're going to swipe to factory reset and we're going to go back. And we're also going to do an advanced wipe on the system, and we'll probably get rid of the cache as well, just like that. And we might as well wipe data as well, but do not check internal storage unless you don't want anything on your device. So once that is done, we can go back again, tap on install. And since we've already flashed the vendor image, we should be fine. we'll go through flashing the ROM and Google Apps once more through this method as well. So I'm going to fast forward this flashing the system part, and we're going to move on to the Google Apps next. Okay, so once that is done, we're going to go back and we're going to flash the mini dynamic gaps, or whatever Google Apps that you decided to choose. And it shouldn't take too long either, but I'll skip ahead until this is finished. Okie dokie, that is just finished too. We're going to go back and then we're going to flash Magisk for the last zip there. Now of course this is your optional routing, and then once that's done we're going to tap, I guess we can wipe cache and Dalvik once more just for, well, just in case, and we're going to tap reboot system and we're going to tap do not install. Of course that part is optional as well. So hopefully this time our device will boot within 5 minutes and we won't end up in a boot loop. I guess it's not really a boot loop, it's just stuck. So we'll fast forward this and see if it takes us to PureNexus this time. Okay, so finally it's booted up. Maybe I didn't give it enough time on the first run, but now it's up through the work of magic. And let's see if we can skip the setup wizard because I don't like doing it. Hey, yeah, we can. So yeah, you can tap on the top left to the top right to the bottom left, and that should bypass the setup wizard. If not, that's too bad. So anyway, here we have our apps. We don't have too many at the moment, but what we have is the Pixel Launcher. We've got the Calculator, Contacts, Downloads, Google, Magisk Manager, Phone, Play Store, and Settings. Now we have the round icons as I've talked about earlier. Magisk should be working quite well. Let's go to the Play Store. And, well, I can't be bothered. I'll sideload an APK to check out the SafetyNet and all that, and also sideload the Magisk Manager and get back to you towards the end of the video about this. But so far, so good. It works as desired. Now let's take a look at some of the settings. You can see already the color schemes are blue and gray, very pixel-like. Here we have PureNexus settings. So I also forgot to mention that this ROM supports OMS, so substratum is 100% supported, which is very, very cool, very nifty. So here are a few things. Since there's not many, I guess we can briefly brush over things like that. Lock screen, include lock screen clock and anything lock screen pretty much, so you can double tap to sleep. If you want your music cover art to be on the background as well. Notification drawer, these three options I generally like to play with a bit. And of course the number of tiles per column. So now we should have a very small expanded one like that. Looking very good. And this update included the custom header image. So we're bringing that back. And of course the header provider, we can have dynamic or static. So dynamic changes between, I think, time, based off time, and the header pack. Let's have a look at wavy. That looks pretty nice. Let's have a look at nature, the random bits of nature. Nice, that looks very cool. And poly. Nice. I like less polygons in my thing, but that also looks quite nice. I might leave it on nature. Yeah. Okay, that looks nice. So shadow for the header image, I guess just how bright you want it, I'm not sure. And you can see any of the installed ones by default, which actually look quite nice. So these are different ones for the night, morning, and all that. And if we go over to nature, there's also got the lightning for it as well. And you can long press to set it, I think, if we change it to static. Well, you can sort that out, I guess. Let's say we want the morning. Yeah, it's changed already. So yeah, that's very nifty, very cool. Adds a bit of personalization to a otherwise boring slab. Now status bar, same thing, clock, battery, carrier labels. So if you wanted to say some words up there instead. And brightness control, very nice as well. And that should also be the place for the battery line, maybe inside battery settings. So yeah, we can have a battery bar as well. And these are the options available. And let's have a look at some of the navigation bar ones. And also we have one-handed mode, which is something I want to show as well. So like on EMUI and some other, I guess, ROMs out there, you can slide to the right or left on the navigation bar and get your screen to move to one side. So if I swipe to the left, it goes towards, I swipe towards the right and it goes towards the right, things like that. So touch outside on this black area to exit this mini screen. And of course we can slide on the navigation bar to switch between the left. So the standard left and right mini screens. And that is very cool to use. So we can go back to normal and then go back again and things like that. So when you're holding in a hand with one hand, you can now, I guess, tap, do a lot more things than what you could before. Then if you wanted to go back, you just swipe like that. You can see it's back to normal. So that is also another very cool feature. So yeah, I'll leave that on. That looks pretty nice. And that is also where you can turn off the pixel nav bar. So there's no dots, but it's still solid, which I like. And let's see some other things. So there you can customize the hold back to kill and all that. Volume rocker, we got some more adjustments there. Very cool. And display, we also have night light here, not battery light. Where is it? Oh, that's on desktop. Sorry, display, I think, inside settings. So we have a look actually. We also have night light available and a whole bunch of different quick toggles available there. Where is it? Night light. You can also turn that on as well. So another thing you can do is, what I like to show off is like they have a lot of different quick toggles up there. Caffeine is one that's very cool. It pretty much leaves your display on for 5, 10, 15 intervals like that. So if we drag it up here, real quick, this video will be quite long. Is this? Okay, there we are. Then we hit back. You can see in 4 minutes our device will sleep, in 10, 9, or 30 minutes, and infinity. Until we lock the screen, this won't reset, or this will reset when we lock the screen, as we can see. So now I'm going to move on to having a look at the SafetyNet bypass. So we'll just skip to that and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm ready to, fingers crossed, to show you if it passes SafetyNet using Magisk. This is bound to change, of course, being a cat and mouse game between developers and Google, but we'll see where it takes us and we'll see if it works right now. So you can see this is really recent, it's not some hoax, but here I've just installed SuperUser through the APK, and I've also installed Magisk Manager. Let's have a look. Maybe I need to clear this. And there we are, asking for root access. I'm going to remember this choice forever. And fingers crossed, we're going to press the SafetyNet check. And there we go, profile mismatch. But that is cool because I wasn't thinking properly and I forgot to turn on Magisk Hide. So we can go settings and then tap enable Magisk Hide. We need a reboot to apply settings, so remember this profile mismatch. And we're going to reboot, just reboot normally. And now I should have my fingers crossed and see if it works. Now this is not a guarantee that all of Magisk will work. Last time I was on PureNexus, I had trouble hiding root from apps, but SafetyNet still passed. So I could use Android Pay, but not hide root from certain apps, which was kind of weird. But maybe this will fix it, maybe not. We shall see. I do have an app to test with, but I'll probably need to download it once more. I'll just search up if we can. Okay, so now we're back and ready for the final round of testing. Now, I've installed the Opal app for us Sydney-siders, I guess, people living in New South Wales. That will not run with root access. As we can have a look, you'll say our device is rooted, blah, 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 probably because it handles payment information and all that. Just for security, so we're going to open up Magisk Manager. We're going to double check that Magisk Hide is in fact here, and also in the settings it's enabled properly. I've had reports that their switches have been flying back and forth and it's not working well. So what we're going to do here is locate Opal, which shouldn't be too hard because we don't have many things installed. Check that. Okay, I didn't have to back out of that. And now we'll check the SafetyNet status. You can see it's still passed today, so that means you should be able to use Android Pay. I don't have that right now to test, but we should also be able to open up our Opal Travel app because we have enabled Magisk Hide for it. And yeah, that part doesn't work, but passing SafetyNet does work. Now, I think it also kept getting unchecked, not too sure. And I know this one you shouldn't have to be able, or you shouldn't have to reboot your phone to get it to work. I guess we can try other things, but I wasn't really too keen on getting just this app to work, which was kind of silly. So I might clear data and we'll try again. Yep. So this worked on a stock ROM, but not on PureNexus. So think of that what you will. But those are my findings. You can see that SafetyNet still passes at this time, but is very likely to change very soon. So thank you guys for watching this video on how to flash PureNexus, and I guess in part get SafetyNet to pass on it as well. So you can use Android Pay and other things like that. But currently, at least for me, it doesn't want to allow or hide root access from other apps. So thank you guys very much for watching, and if you have any other video tutorials or videos that you want to see in general, I guess leave something down below in the comments and I'll try my best to I guess do that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you all in the next one.